A guy gets his first real salary increase, and for the first time in months, he feels successful. He upgrades his phone, moves into a nicer apartment, starts ordering food more often, buys better clothes, nothing crazy, just small upgrades. The kind people say you deserve after working hard. And honestly, at first, life genuinely feels better until one day. He checks his bank account before paying for something simple and realizes he's somehow just as financially stressed as he was before the raise. That's lifestyle inflation. And the scary part is, almost nobody notices it happening while it's destroying their wealth in slow motion. The trap doesn't feel like a trap. Lifestyle inflation almost never feels dangerous. That's why it's so powerful. Nobody wakes up thinking, today I'm going to destroy my financial future. It happens gradually, quietly, one upgrade at a time. A slightly nicer car, a better gym membership, more online shopping, more convenience, more comfort. And individually, none of these decisions seem irrational. That's what makes the whole thing so deceptive, because the problem usually isn't one giant purchase, it's dozens of small lifestyle upgrades stacking on top of each other until your new income disappears completely. And modern life constantly pushes people toward this. The moment you start earning more, the world immediately gives you new standards to chase. A better apartment suddenly feels normal. The cheaper restaurant no longer feels exciting. You start comparing yourself to people in your new income level, co-workers, friends, people online, and slowly your definition of basic changes. That's the dangerous part. Humans adapt incredibly fast. The thing that once felt luxurious eventually starts feeling ordinary. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation, which basically means people quickly return to their normal emotional state after positive changes. That expensive new phone? Exciting for 2 weeks, the luxury apartment, normal after a few months, the upgraded lifestyle becomes your baseline surprisingly fast. And once something becomes your baseline, downgrading emotionally feels painful. That's why many people increase their income for years, but never actually feel wealthier. Because every raise gets absorbed into a more expensive version of normal life. Why people keep falling into it? Here's where it gets psychological. Lifestyle inflation isn't really about money, it's about identity. When people start earning more, they often feel pressured to look successful too. Not always intentionally, sometimes it's subconscious. The expensive watch, the nicer car, the upgraded workspace, the aesthetic apartment, these things start becoming symbols. Proof that your hard work paid off. Proof that you're progressing in life. And social media quietly amplifies all of this, because now people don't just compare themselves to neighbors or co-workers anymore, they compare themselves to thousands of people every single day. Luxury vacations, designer clothes, perfect apartments, morning routines, success content. And after seeing this constantly, your brain slowly starts treating those lifestyles as normal expectations. That creates an invisible pressure to keep upgrading your own life too, even when financially it makes no sense. And here's the really dangerous part. A lot of people confuse higher spending with higher status. So, every time they earn more money, they immediately increase visible spending. Not investments, not savings, visible spending, because visible spending gets social validation. Nobody sees your investment account growing quietly, Nobody compliments your emergency fund, but people do notice the car, the apartment, the clothes, which is why lifestyle inflation often becomes emotional spending disguised as success. And eventually, people reach a strange point where they earn more money than they ever imagined, yet somehow still feel financially trapped because their expenses grew at the exact same speed as their income. How people actually build wealth. The people who eventually build real wealth usually understand one thing extremely well. Just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should normalize it. That mindset changes everything. Because wealthy people often avoid turning temporary income increases into permanent lifestyle expenses. That's the key. Anyone can upgrade their life temporarily, but permanent upgrades create permanent pressure. A more expensive apartment means higher rent every month. A luxury car means higher insurance, maintenance, fuel, expectations, and eventually your lifestyle becomes expensive to maintain. That's when people start feeling trapped by their own success. Real wealth is built when income grows faster than lifestyle, not the other way around. And financially smart people create systems to protect themselves from lifestyle inflation. Automatic investing, automatic savings, spending limits, delayed purchases, they intentionally leave space between what they earn and what they spend. Because that gap is where wealth is created, not in the paycheck itself. And honestly, a lot of wealthy people still live surprisingly normal lives. Not because they can't afford more, because they understand freedom is more valuable than looking rich. That's the real shift. When someone stops asking, "What can I buy now?" and starts asking, "What future stress can I remove forever?" That's usually when wealth finally starts growing. So let's bring this home. Lifestyle inflation destroys wealth slowly enough that most people never notice it happening. The income rises, the lifestyle rises, and financially, nothing changes. Because making more money doesn't automatically create wealth. Keeping the gap between income and lifestyle does. That's the part most people miss. And honestly, modern life makes this incredibly difficult because the world constantly rewards people for looking wealthy, even while staying financially fragile underneath. If this video made you think differently about money, subscribe and comment below. What's one lifestyle upgrade people waste the most money on after getting a raise? I genuinely want to read your answers. See you in the next one.